Hi, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine. This is Titanic Blend from Harney & Sons, which is a black tea blend. It's a very nice one. It has nothing to do with what I'm planning to read in June, which is, this is the June TBR video. But it is a tea that I bought as a sort of sample, and I've had it for a little while, and I just wanted to finish it. So that is a little bit in theme with what I plan to do in June. So I have a few things that I plan to do in June, but probably my biggest thing, it's not really a project, but it's just a thing I need to do, a goal. And you know how everything on BookTube needs to have a nice fancy name or a hashtag or whatever. So I thought I would call it a Midsummer Night's Cleanup because, well, I like A Midsummer Night's Dream, the Shakespeare play. It's one of my favorites. And Midsummer Night is technically in June, although a little bit later in June. So I thought, it kind of works. And it just kind of sounded fun. Cleaning up my currently reading list. And that is important for a lot of reasons. For one thing, I do like to tidy up every once in a while. I'm not as good as some people are about organizing things. But I found that in December I did a slight cleanup and it felt good. But I knew I needed to do it again, and I did minor versions of it. I think in like February I did a little bit of that. Tried in April, but not really. But the problem is it piles up. What happens is every month I have a TBR, which is great, but sometimes it's themed to something, or it's just something I feel like reading, and I read as much of the TBR as I can. The books that I don't pick up at all from that list, I'll just say, well, one day I'll read it, and I don't feel too bad because you can't read everything. But then I usually end up starting a bunch of books every month and I don't finish all of them. So they carry on. And if I get involved in a reading, readathon or something, and it doesn't really fit in my, goals for that month, then suddenly it just keeps carrying on until it's just sitting there. And it's not always books that I dislike. Sometimes it's books I'm really much into, but for some reason I can't seem to pick it up. So, nasal again. So I decided to kind of devote June to that. If you were on my Goodreads currently reading, you would see over 20 books. I would like to get it down to closer to 10. That for me would be good enough. And I also, so I don't know if this is going to interfere with it, but I would also like to return as many of the library books that I have out, and not take as many out, but that's another story. But all the books I've started, all the books that I've had laying around, either get into them or return them. Because June 30th is supposedly the deadline for, no more grace period with fines if they're overdue or whatever. And I don't know if they're going to extend it, and I don't want to assume they're going to. So I want to work with that. So that's kind of my way of cleaning things up. Returning as many books to the library is a literal cleanup for my apartment. And also, and then cleaning up my Goodreads currently reading, and just generally the books that I am currently reading, or quote unquote currently reading, are sort of laying around in piles in my apartment, it's over 20 books. So that's important. Some of them are library books, but most of them are books I own. Plus, this is an added pressure. This is my ancient Kindle Fire. It was really cheap. I think I'm holding it upside down. It was really cheap, and I almost never use it. I have another tablet that's even older than this one, and otherwise I don't read on my phone if I can help it. Books, I mean. And I do intend to get a new tablet someday, but I'm not going to do it special. So I have been subscribing to Kindle Unlimited for almost a year, and I've not even finished in one book that I've gotten. So I've been paying way too much for the books that I have on here. So I just recently canceled it, so it gives me less than a month to finish anything I do already have from my membership or whatever you call it. So I also need to finish some books on here. We'll see if I can get to that. If not, that's just going to be a way of telling me to just cool it with the Kindle Unlimited, because that was such a waste of money. Don't do the math, but if you know how much Kindle... Actually, I did get a discount for a few months, but nevertheless, don't do the math, because I definitely spent more. I could have just bought the books. Oh dear, but anyway. So yes, I do want to finish those books, at least get some kind of my money's worth, if possible. So that would actually be enough books. I could even show you the books, but I wouldn't, because that'd be too many books really to show you right now that I need to finish. Although, here's one that I started in May. and didn't get too far in for the 1950 challenge. So I made some progress and I do like it. So I'd like to continue that. So that's sort of an example. So the other thing is Jane Austen July comes up in, you guessed it, July. I'm a big fan of Jane Austen. The past 2 years that I've been on BookTube, I have been as active as possible in that particular month reading Jane Austen and Jane Austen related things because I love Jane Austen. She's my favorite author, and it's great for me. And I like everything involved in it. So I do kind of want to feel that I finish as much as possible before July. I can read other books that are not Jane Austen related in July because I've decided not to be so strict with myself in the beginning. Any of these special months, I'd be like, no, I must just do this. And then, why do that to myself? But I still want to focus more on Jane Austen in July because I just love her, and I've been really missing reading Jane Austen, so I've been putting it off until July. So anyway, so that I would like to have that cleaned up. There's other reading challenges and read-alongs that I'd like to do as the months go on. So it would just be nice to be a little less piled up, right? So I said I wasn't going to join anything else in June, but there are a lot of activities, there are a lot of things. There were 2 things that I said, okay, I'm going to get involved in some way. One was Jennifer Brooks and Tori at Hufflepuff Discovery. Love that name. Both are hosting an Ancients-a-thon, which is reading classics before 1700. There's all kinds of lovely prompts. It is up my alley because I own and have read from books that were written at that point, including A Midsummer Night's Dream. Love that. I have so many things. I have this. I've had this for years, Medieval Reader. And yeah, I mean, there's so many books. But when I heard that announcement, I went to my library and got a pile this thick. I had Herodotus, which you can't really see, but he's over here because I want to continue with him. And then I said, wow, much as I want to do this, I got to keep it simple because I said I was going to clean up and I need to clean up. So I picked 2 things that pertain to that challenge. And for me, that I think will be enough, even though there's a lot of temptation. This is the book I'm going to start fresh. It's very short. It's, 176 pages, not counting, and the introduction is close to 20 pages. So that's like 150 pages. That's not a lot. Madame de Lafayette, it's a Princess de Clèves. Is that how you pronounce it? Or as I say it, the Princess de Cleves. Anna Cleves. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Well, I guess it does matter to some people, so I don't want to be, too unpedantic. But either way, I've actually had this recommended to me a couple times by people who've read it. And I've had this book since forever, ancient times. I bought it in the New York Public Library sale, which ended in 2009. So I've had it a while. This was 75 cents. I just want to read it. I've been wanting to read it, and I just haven't. It is considered the first French novel. And it was written in 1678, so just down the line. Just right there. So close to 1700. So that's already enough. And then we have the one that I started in April. Made some headway. It was a little behind, but made some headway. And then when everything was happening with my cat, which I don't want to talk about again, I just didn't feel like reading it. It just kind of brought me down a little bit. So I discontinued it, but this is ancient in terms of, still not ancient, but, 1300s, I guess. So Dante, the Divine Comedy, I'm going to read. I think there's something else in the Portable Dante as well. But anyway, and I intend to either finish it or at least make great headway to the point that I'm close to finishing this in June. So this is also something that many people are reading, and I would like to catch up. So that's actually it for Ancients-a-thon, but I would love to do more, and I'm very much looking forward to all the videos that are going to come out, but I decided to keep it simple for myself. And also, I like to read mystery novels, so Kate Howe is hosting a Summer of Suspense, which makes sense for me because I've been trying to get more into reading mysteries in the summer because I always equate it with cold weather. It doesn't mean I don't read mysteries in the summer. I sure do. But I sort of want to break from that, what is that, it's a little too like strict with myself, you know? It's like reading a book that takes place in the winter, but oh, I can't because it's July. Sure you can. Read whenever you want to read. I know certain things just are great for a certain mood. But anyway, that is a side point. I just, of course, it's like seasonal foods. Certain fruits and vegetables are seasonal, and macrobiotic, that's the word I was trying to think of. Macrobiotic diet, trying to have things that are local and in season or whatever. It's not exactly the right word. But anyway, but I know how that is. Sometimes certain books work better in certain times of year. But I don't want to be, too, oh no, but I'm like this and I'm like that, And again, I do read mystery. So that is my, yet again, long-winded way of saying that in this little read along, it is just one mystery novel, I guess, every month of the summer, basically June, July, August. And for June, it is Josephine Tey, who I've been trying to read more of, like Agatha Christie and Dorothy L. Sayers, some of the queens of classic crime, in my opinion. Miss Pym Disposes. This was one of the only Josephine Tey books that I don't own, but I was able to get it from the library. So this also works in terms of finishing my library books. And it's not a long book. It looks simple, not simple, like too simple, but yeah, let's see. Pages here are, I don't want to read the end, 235 pages. So, I mean, you add up these two books in themselves and you've got a regular sized novel, really. And then you have this. And then, I don't even want to get into that. And that doesn't count all the library books, like I said, but, and all the books that I've started over time. But I do think that this is what I can handle. And of course, if I really, really get in the mood for something, I am not going to just say, I cannot read this now. But I do want to stick to as close to this goal as possible. So that's it for my TBR. Let me know what you have planned to read. If you have a video out, I will be sure to look for it. And yeah, I mean, I don't love the summer too much, but I am kind of looking forward to June slightly. Not everything that's happening in June I'm looking forward to, but there are some wonderful things lined up for me. So try to be positive. So that's all for now. Yes, keeping it kind of short for me. So this is Catherine taking tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea and many, many book-filled day and month.